Hey, what's up, guys? It's Gootecks. We got a special treat for you guys today. I have with me on the line Complexity's Filipino Champ and GoldenBoy Neo, who you know from recently just winning Canada Cup this past weekend, as well as getting third place. Shout outs to you guys. High fives all around. Um, this is a little project that we've been talking about for a little while. Why don't you guys go ahead and tell us a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today?
Basically, me and Neo came up with an idea to actually write an article about, why top players are top players, about, want to talk about their main attributes, what makes them a PR Bar, what makes them a Chris G, what makes them a Ray Ray, what makes them a Jay Wong, right? So, what are the top five? Obviously, if you're a top player, you have a lot of attributes that makes you really good, but I just want to talk about the highlight stuff, those top five main attributes they do have, compared to everybody else, and
So,
try to go a slightly in depth about it.
cool. So, who are we going to be talking about today?
Today, since this is the first part, we try to split into three topics because three parts because um, you know there's really a lot of things to talk about these amazing players. So today we're gonna be talking about Ray Ray, Pierre Barg, then Chris G.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I have this list up in front of me. Whoops. Hold on. Oh, all right. All right. That's cool.
Mm.
I can just go like that. All right, cool. Let's get started. So the first guy that we're going to be talking about is Ray Ray. So,
Yes.
for those of you guys that are unfamiliar, Ray Ray is an up and coming player from New York. You guys may have seen him in a big money match against Fnatic last year that he did not come out on top on. But recently he's kind of been making his way to many top eights at many majors all around the
Yes.
U.S. And so for his five attributes that we're going to be talking about today is his optimal gameplay, his overall game knowledge, his creativity, and his assist counter calling, as well as his execution. So why don't we start with the first one? What does that mean, optimal? Does that mean you guys think that he has very efficient gameplay?
That's his number one attribute is him being so optimal. What I mean by that, I feel like his gameplay, like he tries to maximize his damage when he actually hits you. He wants to save every single resources, every single resources that he has,
Mhm.
so he could use this later on. He tries to minimize actually using the resources. I like his movement. He actually opt to start learning plank dashing. So to basically optimize his movement overall. His yeah.
And the thing about Ray Ray too, about him being optimal, is there are some players that um, have great attributes themselves, but they choose not to try to optimize their combos as much because they want to take less risk.
Yeah.
So they'll land a hit, but they are afraid of risking their execution about being optimal, because
Yeah.
if they're optimal, the risk of you dropping a combo and getting punished for it is higher.
It's higher,
But
absolutely.
his ability of being optimal all the time allows him to deliver all these combos to
Yeah.
get all the meter. So that's why it's a very good attribute to have.
Yeah.
He's willing to take the risk because he's practiced the execution.
Yeah.
Would you say that him being optimal adds an extra, like, I don't know, 5 to 10% to his game that can make all the difference when it comes to a really close match?
Probably 15%, if not more.
Even higher.
Yeah.
There would be games that he has to hit them one more time or a couple more times, but since it's so optimal, the opponent doesn't even get a chance to play. It's so amazing to see. Like, how many times do you see actually in a match that someone has this much life left, 5%,
Yeah. Oh.
right, or 10%, and now even though you have 80%, but since it's Marvel, if they hits you once, it still doesn't
So
matter. The next hit wins. But
I think a good example too is when you need, for example, a super and then to DHC to your next character to kill,
mm-hmm.
but because you didn't add that extra extension because you were afraid of dropping it and getting
Yeah.
punished, you just went for your basic combo or standard combo, but you didn't get enough meter to go to the next character.
Yeah.
So they're left with what Champ just said,
Yeah.
5-10%, which is enough in Marvel for anybody to just get
It's
destroyed.
very important. Like aside from combos in general, he's very optimized with his movement. His blink dashing is very efficient. His his um he's very optimal with his defense and his offense too. He understands like the absolute frames that he could attack. Also, when he can press a button, he actually went extensively to those little details. So I actually, that's the one thing I like about his gameplay. Obviously, number two is his overall game knowledge. This guy actually knows so much about the game. I know people, in the community only sees him using Ryu, Magneto, Doom, and Sentinel, only 4 characters. But this guy can actually play multiple characters, but he just chooses to use those 4 characters.
Mhm.
But his game knowledge, he understands, what, like, like a quick scramble. He understands why that happened right away. When I talk to him, actually I appreciate that knowledge. Knowledge is actually number one to me. I feel like if you have a lot of knowledge, your win ratio is higher because there's less things that could hit you randomly because you actually have more knowledge, or more insight about the game.
And it could be just from ranging from just situations and character, like matchups to actually like specific frames. Like he was telling me, if you do this move with Magneto, it gives you this much frame advantage, which gives you another chance at a mix-up.
Yeah.
And if you don't, there's a good chance that you can get out safely.
Yeah.
So that type of knowledge gives you a confidence when you're playing as well. Whereas if you don't have as much game knowledge, you may be more hesitant to take those risks. So,
Yeah, since you have knowledge, what happens is that if you ever get put into a situation that's very tricky, since your game knowledge is very high and that's your main attribute, you could always make the best decision.
Yeah.
Like without just like, oh, I don't know what to do here. Let me just guess a 50-50. If I could get out, can I press a button here? Or can I just super out of this? What can I do? You don't have to make that 50-50 decision if it's right or wrong. You already know since your game knowledge is
It's already
your
programmed.
attribute.
It's already
Yeah, you already
programmed.
know. All right, if he does this, these are the options that I can do. Well, it's not the best options, but at least I know what to do. I don't have to guess. I don't have to make an audible call right now because I already know the options that I have. So that's very important.
Do you think that he developed his game knowledge through like just a lot of grinding or through playing in a lot of tournaments, or do you think he did something else, like maybe he's done a lot of like forum research, studied his frame data, or how do you think he's done it?
That's something that I've wondered about myself because he's a young player.
I absolutely think he's young and he absorbs a lot of information very fast. And on top of that, I feel like he's very talented
And he's hungry.
and he's very hungry to win. And part of it also he's surrounded with amazing players in New York. He gets to play with Chris G, Yipes, all those guys. He
Yeah.
got Chris Matrix to actually guide him.
Which if you actually notice, there's a lot of characteristics in his gameplay that resemble Yipes.
Absolutely.
Like his speed, his which we will be talking about in a little bit here, his creativity. He is not just a one pattern type of player. He's very fast, and shadows of or shades of MVC2 Yipes.
Yeah, they actually call Yipes actually told me that he is called Baby IFC. So and I personally appreciate like that his gameplay overall because I like how he plays. He's very exciting. He's very fast, very aggressive. I like that.
And speaking of exciting, it takes us to our next one, creativity.
Yeah, there you go. So his creativity is definitely top 5 in the game right now. He comes up with the sickest combos, sickest optimized combos. Some of them are kind of impractical, but he makes it seem like it's very practical in a tournament match. The way he does it, he does it with with just little effort. The way he executes his combos is amazing, and I feel like his creativity mostly kind of falls into the combos category.
Which is, I think, it's part of being the optimal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of complements each other. Being optimal and being creative, since you're like kind of like go hand in hand. With his overall.
And what that
skill
does,
set.
like I'm a player that really appreciates what an attribute will do to the psychology of your opponent. I think when you are able to optimize your combo or present your opponent with a creative combination or strategy that they're not familiar with, it also places them in a situation where they have more fear, or
Yeah,
they are more lost. They're
I
like, oh, I
played.
just got hit with something that I've never seen before. Oh, I just got hit with another mix
That's
up. Oh,
that's 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 a good topic to talk about actually. One thing that when I fight Ray Ray, I fought Ray Ray multiple tournaments now, and one thing about fighting him is that I'm actually extra careful
yeah,
because one, I know if he touches me, I basically 100%. I'm about to lose the character or potentially lose the game because this guy's so optimal. He would not let me go. He would just constantly, attack me or put me in a lot of 50-50 situations by just making one mistake. So fighting someone that is optimal, is very creative, who has very good overall game knowledge, puts you in the situation like, all right, I gotta stop taking less risk. I gotta play more solid. I can't just play flowchart. It forces you to actually play better. So that's one thing about him.
this one I really like. Number 4. I actually really like this one. Assist counter calling.
That's he learned from more. He learned it definitely from Yipes or Chris Matrix because assist counter calling. That's the strategy in Marvel 2
Yeah,
to actually bait. Because Marvel 2 assist is obviously very dominant. Marvel 2 there's so many invincible assists. It's like you could just press one button and an uppercut will come out to save you
and you have to
from.
deal with it.
Yeah, you have to deal with it. Like every 2 seconds, an uppercut will come out. So I like that. In Marvel 3 it's different. Most of the assists are projectiles,
Yeah,
and they have a lot of startup. But what it does is that it helps you cover the ground more. And what Ray Ray does is he understand. He looks at in Marvel 3 there's like a HUD, life bar, and then there's like A1 and A2, and A1 A2, and that's when like your assist is ready. If it's not great, if it's ready to be called, like, it's obviously lit up.
yeah,
But if it's not available, then it turns gray, right?
yeah.
So I actually talked to him about this. I say, do you use sound to distinguish if they call it assist? Because me, I use sound. I use my headphones. I try to like listen to like Magneto say like come to me, or I get assistance,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
from that point, or he called it assist, then I preemptively start jumping because I do not want to block an assist. I do not want to get locked down. But Ray Ray, on the other hand, he's very aware of the A1 and A2 HUD, so he pays attention. So as soon as he calls an assist, he sees that, oh wow, that one grays out. So he automatically jumps or it tries to evade it. And then as soon as you call, your assist would whiff, and then he will call assist
Yeah.
and basically hit my assist, and then he has time to attack. So it's a constant, when you fight him, it's a constant neutral game match. Like whoever gets to bait assist first and whoever gets to get locked down first. So it's such an amazing attribute to have. I think that's definitely one thing that makes him stand out a lot, because if you actually fight Ray Ray in neutral, you actually find yourself struggling trying to hit him. But half of the time, I think the way people hit him is because sometimes he gets too overly aggressive, or he gets hit in the beginning and he doesn't get to show his excellent neutral game.
And I think number 4 ties into the overall game knowledge, because depending on what matchup he's fighting against and what assist they have, he will call his assist a lot of the times very well timed, so that not only does he not get hit by the assist that they called, but that it puts him in a position of advantage to either punish or put the opponent in a bad situation.
Absolutely.
Which speaks of his number 2 attribute, game knowledge.
Yeah.
But within that game knowledge, a very special attribute is what we were saying, assist calling, which a lot of people I feel, as they're getting better, they have a generic way of calling their assist when they feel like they want to attack, whereas there is a specific system that is more precise and more difficult, which is what he's applying. He is basically either avoiding or waiting for them to call their assist so that he can counter it.
Yeah,
which is,
it's a constant bait. Like I would pretend like he's gonna pretend that he's about to rush in, so you end up calling your assist, but he just rushes in, but he doesn't do anything. He just up back, and then based out your assist, then calls assist. Now you're helpless because one, your assist is in recovery or got hit by my assist, and now you're getting pinned down by my main character in assist. So the match becomes 2-1. So it's like playing footsies basically. Assist counter calling is like almost the same as Street Fighter footsies. You want to walk into that range that they feel intimidated, so they end up sticking out a button, and then you just walk back and stay in the outside, just outside of that range, just to whiff punish it.
And then you call your assist.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's the same concept.
So he'll kind of get in range, bait you to call yours, and then evade it, and then while yours is grayed out because you just called it, then
Yeah.
he will come in. He'll call his assist and then use his assist to cover him as he comes at
Yeah,
you.
yeah, and hits both of my
Oh,
characters. Yeah, it's pretty amazing tactic.
but doesn't that only work with like certain assists? Like, wouldn't that
Yeah,
work best with beam assists?
yeah, it
Well,
works.
that's one example.
Yeah, that's one example how to use it. But since majority of his assists are projectile assists, that's one of the ways that he actually uses it. There's a lot of the meta gets higher and higher, obviously, and there's a lot of different ways to apply the particular strategy. But that's just his main. I feel like that's where he shines the most, is neutral, and obviously the obvious number 5 is his
His
execution.
execution.
Everybody, like, you
Which
can't be
is
optimal. You can't be optimal with not having execution like
certainly
that.
can be creative.
Yeah, you can't be creative without not having an execution. So there's really not to talk about its execution. Execution is like amazing.
Mm.
So
Have you seen him practice in training mode?
yeah, absolutely, because he stayed in my house for 2 weeks for Evo, before Evo, and I seen him train, and he's just yeah, he's just a robot.
Did you notice anything about the way that he practices his execution?
I don't feel like he practices execution. I just feel like if he wants to try to do something, he just looks at it and tries to spend like maybe an hour or two, and he could do it.
Which, but then again, that takes patience, and you have to assume that at one point when he started playing the
When
game,
he yeah,
didn't have the
yeah.
like the execution or
At one point when he first started, he didn't have that dexterity. You would say.
or the muscle memory.
Yeah, the muscle memory to actually the hand and eye coordination, right? But in time you develop that. Now it becomes easier. But
And the thing is, when you see something new that you haven't seen before, or that you're trying to attempt, maybe you watched a video, or maybe you saw somebody do it, and you're like, let me try to do that. Because of your experience and because of the muscle memory you've already developed from when you were training,
yeah, before.
it incorporates. It's not as hard to do it anymore, because again, you probably have either done just as hard, or things that are just as hard in the past. Maybe they just need a little quick, modifying or something to like, which takes anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour, whatever.
Yeah, he basically put in work already. That's why he's a top player, I think.
That's Ray Ray.
That's Ray Ray right there.
Well, hey, this we went on a little bit longer than I thought we were going to. Why don't we save PR Balrog for the next video?
Okay.
So guys, if you're thank you for watching. Sit tight, and next up we'll be talking about EGPR Balrog.
What?
Oh, I said next up we're gonna be talking about EGPR Balrog.
I thought you said you were gonna say about Pierre Balrog.
Yeah. Like we'll stop this. I'm gonna stop the recording, and then we'll run it back again.
All right.
Because we're at like 15 minutes. But here, let's do like a proper outro. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys learned a little bit about what we're trying to do here with these player profiles. Where can people go for more? Neo, where can people find your stuff?
Oh, well, people can find my stuff at YKWIS, which is the acronym for You Know What I'm Saying. It's the latest fun stuff in FGC apparel, dedicated for you guys, by you guys. Check it out. Lots of cool, fun stuff there.
And Champ, what about you? What do you guys got coming up?
I got a lot of stuff coming up. But I think just watch twitch.tv, FGTV Live. I'm actually all over the place. But my latest project with my homie Gootecks,
That's right.
fightinggamemastery.com. Obviously it's I feel like that's an investment for a lot of players out there who hasn't get it yet. If you have if you need that X factor, you need to get better. That's what you need, guys. Obviously me and Gootecks have been producing so much free content, but that one, just this one, you just basically need to invest in this one. Just this one, guys. Just this one. Just try it out.
That's right.
It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. I heard nothing but amazing reviews, so I'm actually very motivated, very happy to actually continue supporting. Try to teach more people.
That's right. All right, guys. Well, check out YouKnowWhatI'mSaying.net as well as FightingGameMastery.com. Sit tight. We'll be back with PR Balrog next. See you later.